Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and I am a little bit tired. I was gonna try to do the video from the car, but it was too much going on, and I didn't even want to, do that in the state that I was in. So let me explain to y'all what's been going on. So first of all, I don't know how many of y'all do this or have done this before, but I'm in the middle of peeling my feet. I do a foot peel either once a year or twice a year. And this year I might do it twice because this is the worst off that I've allowed my feet to get. I typically would massage my feet several times a week and soak them and just keep up with them so that they look nice and feel nice. And I just haven't made time for it. So I've allowed them to get rough and tough and toe down and raggedy. And yeah. So I ended up doing my foot peel. This is the one that I actually initially used first. The first time I ever used one, this was the one that I used, and it did exceptionally well. Now I'm using another one that's peach, and if I think about it, I'll show y'all what it looked like. Is it right here? No. But yeah, but it's working exceptionally well. Yeah, and I've never been told to do what it's telling me to do prior, so I think that's what's helping it really do what it needs to do this time. Because yeah, my feet going through it. Um, I took a picture of both of my feet yesterday, and just to help y'all understand how well it's working, if I were to show y'all a side by side comparison of yesterday less than 24 hours ago versus right in this moment after I just did my first peel of the day, because if I soak my feet, I peel my feet twice. I tend to peel my feet once when I get off work or after I'm, awakened or whatever, usually after I've gotten off work now. And I've already moisturized them. So what I've been doing after I've soaked my feet and I'm rubbing my feet, I put this on. Okay. I moisturize my feet with this, and after everything has healed up properly and has peeled off, I'm gonna start using this one. Now I didn't know if I was gonna like these, so that's why I got these in the smaller sizes. This is from the Black Owned Business Great Scents Oil that I have done a Black Owned Business spotlight on before in the past, and I ended up a couple of months ago putting up a almost pretty much 50% off, um a share that they had like 50% off a couple of months ago. The container size that I get, I think, is 16 ounces normally, and that's $40. That's $40, and it lasts a really long time. And I use out of one container every single day, and it does exceptionally well. But anyway, that's not why we're here. I'm just kind of telling y'all what's going on. But yeah, for real, if I did do a side by side comparison, y'all be like, wait a minute, now look, this is just some of the peeling that's come off of one foot. This came off of my pinky toe, the bottom of my pinky, and I didn't even have to try to pull it. Now I'm really weird. Had I thought about this, I probably could have made a video with just showing where I was peeling it off, because I'm pulling it off. I'm very impatient when it comes to stuff like this. So instead of me just waiting on it to peel and pretty much come off mainly by itself, I just pull it off. That's why I hurt myself the other day, because I was pulling, and even though it was beginning to pull up more skin as it got to that particular part, I was doing the most. And now I'm hurting a little bit on that particular part of my foot, but I'm going to be careful from here on out. But I was doing a lot. But I'm very weird. I'm very awkward. I'm one of those people that will watch a video of not peel popping. What I was gonna say was I like watching videos of pimple popping and dandruff scratching. I'm one of those. I'm very, 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 very weird. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was a market for foot peels and face peels and all that stuff, because I'm trying to tell y'all, the way that my foot peeled this time, oh yeah, I would get me some good money up off of this. I would have gotten some good money up off of this. Like, it is doing the most. Y'all, I'm sorry. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know I was doing with that. So if y'all see me from time to time kind of doing that, I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. I'm reaching out, doing stuff like that. I need to be done for right now because I am gonna try to stick with what I've been doing, which is I peel it once and then I soak my feet and massage my feet and then I peel it again. I try to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour of soaking my feet and then take them out one by one so that the softness can continue to stay and all of that. And so that my skin is still soft and it doesn't dry out because and then, do what I'm supposed to do. Rinse it off. And then I go for what I know and peel a little bit more. When I'm done for the day, what I do is I grease my little piggies up with Good Sense oil body buttercreams, whipped buttercreams, and I put my foot in a clean sock, and let it continue to do what it's doing. And I really feel like that's why my little pinky toe part that I showed y'all came off the way it did, because I ain't even have to maneuver that. I ain't have to do nothing. That mug just came on. I was just there and I was like, oh. Anyway, let me tell y'all about what's going on. Now I'm calm, so I feel like I can come to y'all and talk to y'all about what happened earlier. So today was my first day back at work, right? And part of that was supposed to be once I got off work, if I did not have to work over, I was supposed to meet somebody to discuss my occurrences, 2 occurrences in particular, to fight them. Because as I've told y'all before, last month when my period came on, I had to come to work and I had already barely got any sleep because I was in that much pain. Then when I got to work, I was in so much pain that I sat in the car and I was just like, should I even go in this building? Like, I really was contemplating calling out from the car, which would have been a late call off, which means more occurrences because it's my normal day. I'm already late and it's late past the time because we have to get them 2.5 hours notice. Even if I put in for a sick day and I get paid for it and it's after a certain amount of time, it's gonna go against me. So yeah, I was going through and I had already made up my mind. I'm not fighting. I don't even care. Like, in my mind, I'm gonna be gone from that place sooner than later. I'm sorry. I'm gonna manifest it and I'm gonna put in the work for it and it's gonna happen and I'm gonna get away from them. Go somewhere else that's leaps and bounds better than this place because they keep trying me. Today was another example of why I need to hurry up and get away because you making me mad. So had an amazing day. First of all, got there, I clocked in on time. I already knew that I was gonna have to trade with somebody to keep the peace, so that's what I did. One of them approached me and was like, so are you gonna trade with me or is this person gonna trade? Because he already over there at the meeting, just in case you didn't want to trade. And if you do want to trade, he's gonna come back over there and work in the most hated department and whatever. And I was like, oh no, I was gonna go over there. I'm gonna trade with you. He was like, oh, okay. So I went over there. He gave me the schedule. He was like, hey, how you doing, sweetheart? I was like, I'm fine. He kills me how he talks sometimes. Like, he young. I mean, he younger than me. He finna be 30 or something like that. This is the married man that I told y'all about who has the young child. He's married. Like, he don't be trying to roll up on nobody. He's like one of the few dudes that's married there who does not seem like he's trying to roll up on other people, and he's faithful to his wife. I hope he actually is. And he lived for his child. And I'm like, yes, Lord, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, so went to the meeting, went upstairs. I was with one of the 3 amigos. So the other amigo was the one who initially was in my spot just in case I wasn't going to trade. So me and him, we worked well today together, like we always do. Had an amazing day. Now, y'all, everything was going so great that we took longer breaks than we normally would, and we handled and held down our department the way we would do. And it was great. Well, I already knew I had that meeting to discuss my occurrences. And I told the person who reached out to me on Friday that I would be available on Tuesday around 8:15, as long as I wasn't drafted to stay over. Now, I took it upon myself to get there right by 8 o'clock, if not a few minutes prior. I waited a few minutes, and it was to the point where Everybody and their literal mama passed by me and was like, "Hey, good morning, Blender," da, 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 and all this other stuff. Y'all, when I tell y'all everybody and their mama, I mean everybody and their mama. There is a supervisor that don't even work on my shift who rolled up. It was like, "Hey, Blender, how you doing?" Da, 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 da. Like, had a whole conversation to some mo. The dude that is over HR rolled by. He said, "Hey, good morning, Blender, how you doing?" And the way he looked and said it, it's like he was saying good morning, but he was kind of confused while I was why as to why I was standing there. Excuse me. So one of the other people, because they've added a third HR person, but like I said, he's the one who's the on the top of that pyramid. She saw me and she was like, "Hey, do you need help finding somebody?" And I was like, "Well, maybe." I was told that I needed to meet somebody in particular right here. And so, if I'm not mistaken, this is where I'm supposed to be, because I had talked to my friends outside of work and they were like, "Oh, well, where they're talking about is right here. If you know where she sits, then that's where it is." I was like, "Okay, I know where she sits." So I was standing there. I was just going to wait and see if they could, catch on that I'm me. And then, because I had already told them in the message, I'll figure out where I need to go on the day of. And I was there like at 8, if not a few minutes before 8. So anyway, I know it had to be before 8 because there were people waiting at the clock because we can't clock out before a certain time. So anyway, she was like, "Oh, well, do you know the person?" I said, "No, I don't know who it is." When they texted me, they never said what their name was, which is kind of strange to me. They literally told me what their title at the job was. It said everything but their actual name. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Since they said so many specific things, I knew that they literally were from my job. So I was like, okay, we don't about my business. A lot of them take it upon themselves to use their personal cell phones to reach out. And it's up to them if they want to do that. I don't know if they do that because I have an out of state number, and I don't know. Most of the I very rarely get anybody that calls me from an office from work. Um, but if they do, it's somebody that's calling me off or letting me know that I don't have to come in on a day that I was scheduled to be assigned to work. Something like that. So anyway, so I'm waiting for the person. She done directed me. She was like, "Oh, well, maybe I can figure out who the person is by the number." She's typing the number in her phone and nothing's popping up. She was like, "Oh, well, I don't know who that is." Like, she's really going out of her way to try to figure out who the person is. Don't know who it is. So she was like, "Well, the person that handles that, they sit right here and that's their name, and their name was on the door." Looked inside the office. They had their lunch bag on the desk. They had a drink, all that stuff sitting on the desk. So I'm like, okay, they should be back sooner than later. And we had an appointment. So they told me, "Oh, see you Tuesday." Okay, then. You work up here. All you really do is wait for people for these appointments and stuff like that. Like, you don't have a lot of pressing stuff, and you don't have to do like me, which is you have to hope and pray you don't have to work over or come in early and all this other stuff that can inconvenience you as far as what you have to do outside of working here. So I waited for the person. So 5 to 10 minutes into me waiting, I texted them and I said, "I'm here." So then I went on back to my phone where I was scrolling, and I said to myself, they haven't texted back. I'm making up in my mind that I'm not going to do like I usually do, being me, which is I give people way too much grace. I give people way too much rope. I let them run over me and waste my time, right? So I said, if they ain't here by this particular time, I'm going to go clock out and I'm going to leave and go do what I'm going to do. Now, in the midst of all of this, I'm standing there. Keep in mind, all day my feet ain't been hurting. And while I'm standing there, my feet begin to hurt. And I'm like, I ain't got time. I'm like, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. And so I was like, yeah, at this point, I'm not going to be able to walk today. So I'm not going to do that. Now, I ain't going to lie to y'all. Part of my feet hurting was my fault, because with my foot peeling that's going on that I'm doing myself, yesterday I went a little bit hard in the paint, and instead of me calming down, I got a little peel happy, so to speak. And I ended up peeling too much on one particular part of my foot, and the skin caught on to another layer of skin that didn't really need to be removed, and it went down too far, and it hurts. So what I've been doing is, what I got to do, I should have started yesterday, but I think it was just it was hurting too much. That after I soak it and it's time for me to put all this stuff on it, In that particular spot, I'm gonna load it down with coconut oil. Coconut oil is awesome. It really works well, and I'll probably be healed up in a day or two to where I won't have to experience any pain, and I'll be good. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm already hurting, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna walk today. Now, if I needed to force myself to do so, I would, because one of my friends, she was gonna possibly leave out after I told her, hey, I'm about to leave work so that we could walk together like we did yesterday. So at this point, I'm just like, it's looking more like I'm not gonna walk today, and it's pissing me off because I want to have at least those 3 days starting out right now to walk, even though I did a lot of walking at work today. That's besides the point. So waiting on the person, waiting on them, they never said nothing. Walking out the door, the same woman who is a part of HR now, she is sitting like right when you first come in the door and all this other stuff, kind of like to greet people. I don't know why she do that sometimes, but she was sitting up there. So then she was like, hey, so did you get that straightened out? And I was like, no, the person never showed up. And she was like, what? Oh my gosh, we're going to have to reschedule that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I was like, oh, no problem. Walked on out the door. Now, because all of this stuff is out of my normal routine that I do once I'm leaving for the day, I ended up leaving some stuff I didn't want to leave. So y'all saw the cup I showed y'all yesterday, the Betty Boop Coach cup. So I washed that out and I put ice in it. And since I keep forgetting my plastic cups here, my plastic bottles, I'm gonna be going between the bottles and those because I know it's gonna be getting hot. And I'm talking about really, 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 really hot. So in my mind, I'm like, let me just get this just in case I forget that, because I want to have both interchangeably in my car. The plastic one is just gonna be in my trunk, and I just, I can keep the other one wherever, and it's gonna hold the ice just in case. But for right now, I've just been going between tumblers. So I washed that tumbler out. I set it up. I actually have been remembering when I know that I'm gonna go walking. I've been remembering to have the ice and to put the spring water over it, right? So I had done all this and I left that in there. So I was like, no, let me go back in there. I didn't want to. So I changed my shoes, walked back in there. And so she was still sitting there. And then on the way in the building, one of the supervisors, the side heifer supervisor, passed me. He was like, you going the wrong way, ain't you? Everybody, Blenda, you going the wrong way, ain't you? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was supposed to have been gone. I was supposed to have been gone. Had I not had this meeting that never happened, I would have been where I was supposed to be forever ago. I would have already been walking for at least 30 minutes by now. By the time I finally left work, it was an hour after I should have gotten off work. Tell me why as soon as I put my car in drive to leave out of the parking lot, the person gonna text me back to my some where at, because I initially texted them and said I'm here. Do you know, I looked at it and it's as if I can see the message. I can see the preview of the message. And I was like, I'm not even gonna open it up and respond to them, because what we're not finna do is this. Because I was right there, but at the same time, I was like, no, you're cutting into my personal time. This is my personal time. On my check, it's not gonna reflect that I was here after 8. It's not gonna reflect that, because they're gonna know once they look back and see, oh, well, she wasn't drafted to stay over. Yeah, what was going on as to why she didn't clock out on time? And I'm not going to get paid for those few minutes that I did stay over. And I'm definitely not going to get paid for, staying until an hour after I should have already clocked out anyway. Yet again, for something that ain't got nothing to do with me staying over because I got drafted to stay over. It wasn't nothing like that. There were people who actually were told that they couldn't even come to work because they were considered extra today. When I tell y'all, I have dodged that bullet 99% of the time. I always get my check. I think I might have gotten what they call forced out maybe once on a day that I worked. And it didn't matter because, yet again, I get so much overtime. It was a welcome blessing for me. It wasn't oh no, I worked normal days last week and I missed the day and now I'm about to miss this day. No, it wasn't nothing like that. One of the people, I don't know if they just didn't get the message or whatever, the drunk that everybody has presumed to be gay, but he got 2 babies on the way, or at least a baby and a possible. He already got other kids, child. He was up there walking across the parking lot, but I didn't know that was the reason. He had went in there and they told him, "Oh, we called you off. You've been forced out." And wasn't nothing for him to do. So he would have been extra and they wouldn't have had nothing to do. Now, if you're extra and they have something for you to do, that's different. They had nothing for him to do today. I don't know what they had the pregnant woman do today because they normally have some unfortunate things. That's all I can. That's the only way I can describe it because I can't tell y'all what it is yet. Because once I do tell y'all gonna be like, wait a minute, y'all gonna get the snacks, the tea, and everything because I'm gonna tell y'all what it is, and I don't think it's gonna be a situation where the company would be able to say, you know what, let's sue her for talking about us and what we do here. Like, no, it just is what it is. I'm not gonna tell the secrets, so to speak, or whatever, because there's some things y'all would be like, that's how they do that. Yeah, that's all I can say. So anyway, but yeah, I don't even know what they had her do because she was there, and normally she does that particular thing that most people do when they're considered to be extra. She can't lift nothing. She's very, very pregnant. And she's not lazy, but she's very, very pregnant. So I'm like, I don't know what she did, but she clocked in and I saw her and I don't know what she did. But they have her on light duty, but she be doing stuff. Just don't know what she did today. So anyway, y'all, I ignored the text message. I still ain't opened it up and I'm not going to open it up. At this point, you're going to have to reach back out to me again and set up another day because I don't have time for it. Like, I really don't even care. Like I told my supervisor, I'm not worried about it. And he kept on like urging me. Like he really was like, I really think you need to go ahead and get that appeal because it wasn't but a minute. I was like, I get it, but I felt like death. And I was outside, but it took everything in me to come out of the car. Like it took everything for me to get up, to take a shower, put my clothes on. I don't know how I got to work on time, but I still felt like death. So it took forever for me to walk across the parking lot to come inside to clock in on time. Therefore, I clocked in a minute late. I just don't even care. Like, I'm over that place. I'm over them. They love trying me. I don't care. So anyway, so I ignored them and I let the ladies know that, and it's crazy because I had let them know, hey, y'all, it's almost time for me to get off work. And then I'm going to go to my meeting. And after I'm done with that, I'm going to come. Like, I was excited to go walk. I give them updates. I try to give them updates between 2 hours to no later than 30 minutes before I get off because they know my schedule. I already told them my schedule. Worst case scenario, hey, I'm not coming at all. But I try not to ever do that the day of. I usually would let them know in advance if I can't be there. Normally, I know stuff in advance, and I like to know stuff in advance because I want to let other people know in advance that I'm not going to be there. Well, when that happened, I told them what happened with that situation, and they was like, no, they didn't. I was like, yeah. And I was like, they literally just texted me to my some where at. Like, I'm not coming back in there. I'm not coming back in there. I'm tired of my spirit. I'm ready to go. I was supposed to already be walking. This is pissing me off. The weather finna be crazy. Like right now, it's sunny right now, but it's gonna be raining within the next couple of hours. Like even into me going to work later on today, it's gonna be raining down. We're gonna have thunderstorms. It's gonna be doing a lot later. So I'm just like, don't nobody have time for that. I need to go home and wind down. It's all kinds of things I could be doing instead of being here. Like y'all love to try to destroy somebody's time. They think that our lives should revolve around being there, and I'm sorry, that's not what it's finna be. That's not what it's finna be for me. I don't know about nobody else, but that's what it's not finna be for me. I don't care what they talk about. So anyway, so that happened. I'm trying to make sure I'd have seen everything that I need to see before I click off of this and get back to my Netflix because I already saw the leaked episodes of Power Book Ghost. I saw that the day they leaked. Yeah, I already saw that. I saw From. Finished that. So now I'm done. So now I gotta watch. I'm gonna go back to watching Shameless and continue enjoying that. That's what I'm gonna be doing. Wait a minute. What is that? Okay. But anyway, y'all, feel like it was something else I was gonna tell y'all. But yeah, I had an amazing day, but I'm just not about to deal with foolishness. And it's so bad, y'all, that I was minding my business. And the person that I was partnered up with, which is one of the three amigos, I'd already told him before that, I went to school for social work, and he went to college as well. And he was talking about, do you want me to forward this job to you? Once I told him, he was like, he was like, I know you don't want to be up in here. He went straight on a certain website and pulled up a job and all this other stuff. He was like, why don't you be a social worker here? I was like, I've applied to be a social worker here ever since I got here. And they keep passing me over. And it was to the point where I would apply for city and state jobs that I personally have had before, or I've done those particular duties before, right? And then some. I was overqualified, if you will, for a lot of these jobs. They get a job to somebody else, and then the job will be out there within a month's time again. And I'm like, y'all did all that, but you could have gave it to me though. Like, and then like I understand that when I first got here, I was without a car, but they have cars. They provide a lot of the vehicles here, like they used to do, like religiously back home in Montgomery. Like so many people that worked for the state of Alabama, they would get a car that would be at the facility that you worked at instead of having to go to the motor pool like I used to have to do whenever I would have to go to Georgia. And any place for me, if it was over 50 miles, I typically would get I would go to the motor pool early in the morning to go do that. That's what I would do, because I got paid whether I was in my car or not for mileage. And I loved that. It was so amazing. It was amazing. But anyway, but yeah, even when I first got here and I didn't have a vehicle for 5 years, y'all. I hated it, but I learned the bus system and I was able to do all that stuff. And it was crazy because where the main place is that a lot of the jobs are here that are social work related, it was never that far from me. So it's like, if worst case scenario ever were to happen, meaning it's snowing and even if I had a vehicle, I could walk down there if I really wanted to, and y'all needed me to be there, just to be there, and the man phones and all this other stuff, I could be there. So they just kept passing me over for stuff. And I'm like, at first I was like, I understand because I don't have a vehicle. And even if it's not even about the vehicle, because like I said, there are so many people who work and they use the vehicles here. I felt like it just wasn't an even playing field because I'm not from this state. And I had done social work in quite some time, so I get it. So I wasn't really too mad about it. But it's gotten to a time in life where they seem a little bit desperate. And I'm like, hey, I ain't done it in a while. And I ain't gonna lie to you because I've gone in there for interviews. That's the thing. I've gone in there for interviews. And one time I had an interview and there were 5 to 7 people, the whole unit. They were there and their supervisor. And I had to interview in front of them. And because it's social work, I wasn't nervous. I was not the slightest bit nervous. I have extreme stage fright. I could be in front of all of my family members that I'm cool with, and if I have to do a random speech in front of them, I am nervous. Stomach about to fall out of the bottom of my body, everything, throat in my chest, all of that. Sweating to death. It could be freezing in there. Now it feels like sweatshop weather. I don't know what that is. It's so weird. I guess it's just because social work is what I meant to do. So I wasn't nervous when I had to interview in front of them. They were impressed with all the scenarios. They would literally, it's funny to me. People ask me about stuff. They'd be like, oh, if you were in this situation, how would you react? I'm like, well, it's funny that you said that because that actually happened to me. Like, they don't understand. I have went through so much as a child protective services social worker in Montgomery, Alabama. I have seen so many things y'all would not believe. If I wrote a book on a fourth of things that I went through, y'all would swear that I was making this stuff up. It's so much. It's so much. It's a lot. There are so many things that ain't in the handbook. There's so many things that ain't in the testing that they need you to pass in order to continue to practice as a social worker, which is the only reason why I'm not a social worker. I'm just like, y'all just don't understand. If you're a real social worker, you're going to go up for your clients, even the trifling ones, because you believe in them trying to get better. But if not, you want their children to thrive. I didn't play that. I didn't play about my babies. But anyway, y'all, I felt like there were a lot of other things I wanted to discuss with y'all, but I can't think of all of them. One of the things I'm gonna tell y'all about that made me laugh or kind of just shake my head was the fact that my partner today, he wrote up on me. He was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. I told y'all every time I'm not there, stuff be popping off." So the dude that I told y'all about, who ain't had sex in 8 years because he had been married to some woman, she was cheating on him and all this other stuff, and she left him and whatever, and he just was like, "I'm not gonna have sex with nobody." And he's knocking on 50's door, and he be swearing that he'll be able to do all these amazing things to me. Like, he be playfully saying this, but I think sometimes he be serious. And I'm like, sir, ain't nobody got time, because I ain't got time for you to go and lose your mind because I done gave you a little piece. Then you gonna come quick, and then you over here swearing that that mouth be doing all kinds of magical things. I don't believe you. I believe that my unicorn that's right here would come to life before he would be able to do anything that would make me lose my mind. He was like, "Oh, well, the D might be trash, but this mouth ain't." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not finna, like, you don't understand. I be getting my entire life laughing at him. Like, I be dying. Then people be like, "What's wrong with her?" And I be like, "Y'all be hearing things this man be saying to me. He be having me crying laughing." But anyway, that's the person I'm talking about in this moment. So he was like, "Man, guess what?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Tell me why he left early the other day." I said, "For what?" I said, "He can't afford to leave early." He was like, "That's what I'm saying." This fool, first of all, I ain't know he did this. So he done went and traded his truck in. It had to have happened within the course of the last 2 weeks. Traded a vehicle he had in and got a new one. And so I'm just like, why would he do that? He barely be having enough money to survive as it is. He done moved. His rent is higher than where he was staying at. So now you got to pay higher rent. You got to pay for a motorcycle, a brand new motorcycle. When he first started working there, he got a motorcycle that he couldn't afford, and something else. And I was like, why? If you already can't afford all this, like, he really, like, at least once a month be like, "Man, oh, I'm barely making it." The magic number usually is like $12. He got $12 until the next time we get paid. I'm like, first of all, we get paid every week. But apparently, you just be sitting up here being dumb with your money. You ain't got no dependents. You don't have nobody else that you owe money to outside of the people that you paying on this bike and this truck to now, and outside of your rent and things. I don't understand. I'm over here doing stuff on my own. I got a car note. I pay my rent. I got my electricity bill that I pay. I put that high gas in my car because I get premium gas. I buy as much food as I want to buy. I can go out to eat if I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? I can spend frivolously if I want to. Like, since January, I have been spending money like crazy because I have been working like crazy. So I'm going to spoil myself and enjoy the finer things in life that are the finer things in life to me. So that's what I've been doing. Apparently, he can't do the same. I ain't got no kids. I ain't supporting nobody. But you can't sit up there and do the same? That's not making sense to me. What are you doing? Like, are you spending money trying to get to know some women or something, and then you looking crazy when you ain't getting no box? I don't understand what's going on, y'all. So me and him, we was discussing it because he brought it up to me. I was like, I don't understand, because he cannot afford to not be at work. He gonna tell him, "Man, I ain't feeling it today. I'm finna go home, and I got enough occurrences to where I could just not have to come, or I could just go ahead and leave." I was like, he got like 7 or 8. So you finna get a whole occurrence because, first of all, you left before what is deemed to be halfway through the shift on your day of you when you normally work, and now we finna be down a person. So now they got to scramble to get somebody else to take your spot and all this. Man, you doing too much. You inconveniencing folks, and you're getting an occurrence in the process. Is it worth it? He said in his mind it's worth it. And I'm like, but he can't afford. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Do what you do. Because I'm going to read him the next time I see him. I'm going to read him. I read him all the time. And I'm going to read him about this. So that's something that happened. Trying to think of what else happened. So the guy that I just told y'all about earlier, who's married, who he don't seem to be acting ignorant like all these other married men are, we normally are the only ones in there that, I associate with. At least he's the only one in there that I talk to, and I get to talk to about Power Book Ghost. And so he said that he didn't know about the episodes and all this other stuff. I was like, well, I heard it leaked. I didn't know what was going on, but it was out there, so I watched it. And you ain't finna get me like you was about to get me when regular Power came on. And I was waiting on it to drop. And I was about to get spoiled, so I had to go quickly find a valid link that's good enough for me to see and figure out what's going on. And it's crazy because as soon as I did that and finished it, they put the valid one up there. I was like, okay. It was a mess. But anyway, I watched it. I watched them episodes. It was awesome. Have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen the season finale? Because it's 2 episodes. It's set up real good. It's set up really, really nice for everything else that's about to come on. I just saw 911 before I got on here, and I was tired of my entire spirit the whole time. Because why would you do that? They did too much on this episode. They be doing too much. How many of y'all have seen Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte? I don't know if I told y'all this or not, but like within the first, I waited like 5 days before I made this announcement. But I let my family and friends know after those 5 days or so were up. I said, all y'all need to know is that for absolutely no reason at all, I'm going to be responding to people with sorrows, prayers. If you see Queen Charlotte, you already know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't understand. When she first said, I said, what? Wait a minute, y'all. Every time I look up, I'm in like little Bridgerton groups and stuff. And it's another group I'm in that ain't got anything to do with Bridgerton. And they said something like that. I was in there screaming. I was like, oh my gosh. I was at work screaming. Because it's like, why would you say that in here? It was so funny, y'all. But I got other people watching it. They thoroughly enjoyed it. I was shocked. Because they the type of people that don't seem to like certain things like that. But they've been enjoying it. I was like, okay, good. I'm glad you like it. But anyway, y'all, let me get to watching some Shameless, I guess, and continue. I'm going to peel my other foot now. And then if I'm up to it, I'm going to soak my feet, peel them again. They looking real good. I swear I am so tempted to take a picture of what my feet look like today and show y'all what they looked like yesterday, because it's like night and day. Like when I tell y'all would be like, this is not the same foot. You're a lie. Like this particular peel is setting it a woof. I am so here for it. But anyway, I hope that y'all are having an amazing start to the week. I am hopeful that I'll have a good week. My friend comes back to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna put her to work, and I'm gonna get to work where I want to work for the rest of the week. But yeah. All right, y'all, take care. I'll see y'all later. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know what else y'all want to know about. Oh, the one thing I did want to talk to y'all about, I forgot. So I'm still debating on whether or not I should pull the not so divorced man to the side and pretty much, because I feel like the way I need to go about it is ask him, is there something that you need to tell me? Or are there a few things that you need to tell me that you haven't told me, that you should have started telling me last year, probably before that, just to see what he gonna say? Because he has not uttered a word. He hadn't thrown no hints about none of this stuff. Because it's like, why you lie to me like that? Like, it's pissing me off because I don't like liars. I don't like that. You didn't have to lie. There was no reason for you to lie to me. That's what's bothering me so bad about it, because you did all this lying and I kept telling you I'm trying not to like you, and you like, no, don't do that. I want you to like me. So yeah, y'all, let me know. Do y'all think I should even, try to have a conversation with him to see what he gonna say, to see if he'll come out of his mouth and be man enough to say, yeah, I'm still married to her. There never was a divorce. There was never gonna be a divorce. It's cheaper to keep her, or whatever he gonna say, because you really sat up here and said, I'm getting a divorce. I filed the paperwork. The divorce decree at my house. She's no longer my wife. She moved out of the house and all of this. Like, I don't like stuff like that. Don't lie to me You could have left me alone. I've been telling you to leave me alone and that I'm not interested, but you continue to roll up. I would have understood if I was pursuing you and sending it off and acting like the side heifer, but that ain't my role, and that's not what I was doing. Speaking of the side heifer, she done decided that she gonna take off for the rest of the week starting on Thursday because the married man will be off. It's just so stupid. Anyway, bye y'all.